Support from the Meeple Minded comes from listeners like you. The next time you're looking for that new geek-tastic purchase, why not support us by using our affiliate link, where we get a small percentage of the total at no extra cost to you. Go to thecomicshop.co.uk/MeepleMinded. Thank you for your support. What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
How are you doing this week, James?
Not too bad, Jason. How are you?
Yeah.
You're knackered. I can tell that just by looking at you.
I probably sound terrible as well.
You perked up. It's amazing how much you perked up the minute that music started.
It's a big motivator, though, to be fair. I do enjoy listening to that music. It's quite sad, really. But yes, I am incredibly drained, incredibly tired. The full-time job is, to say killing me wouldn't be too far from the truth. It's the time of year that I get stationed at the Wimbledon Tennis Championships. For the most part, I'm on my own. Days are somewhere between 13 and 15 hours long. I've literally just done a 15-hour-long day. I got home about an hour ago, and had very little preparation for this episode, and for that I apologise. How are things for you, James? Because you've been at work today as well.
Indeed. I'm not too bad, Jason. Today was relatively easy, which probably means tomorrow is going to be hell, because that's how it usually works.
Oh, the law of averages. I can safely say that is the case, because that's exactly what it was for me. Yesterday, nice and easy. Today, hell on earth.
Yep.
Or more importantly, hell in Wimbledon. So, yeah.
Is there any other kind of Wimbledon?
Well, this is true. Isn't this the one time a year Wimbledon's supposed to be really nice and upmarket and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and then they send you there.
Yeah, go figure. Who knows? But anyway, I was pretty tired yesterday as well, but that was our game night. As most people who know me will know, that I don't miss a game night easily.
No.
And I managed to drag myself down there. I'm not really sure what state I was in, because I don't remember much of the night. All I remember is we actually played a game of what we're going to be talking about today, which is Jamaica. Now, unlike our usual rule of playing this game multiple times, you have only played this game once, haven't you?
I have. And I won.
You did win. We were going to glaze over that, but I'll give you that, James. You did indeed win, and you won by a substantial margin,
I will bask in my victory. Thank you very much.
I'm pretty sure it's because you had a really good teacher. And I can say that knowing that full well that it wasn't me. So, but yes, we are straying from my rule a little bit, because this game is quite simple. I have played this multiple times, so I can safely say, in that game, you saw everything that game has to offer. So, how did you find it to start with? Like, obviously, we'll go into our usual foray of the episode in a minute.
Yeah, it was a very simple game, which I quite liked, because like you, I was very tired. So I was like, it's not taxing, it's very easy to understand, and we could just play it in the state we were in.
Exactly, yeah. And it was good fun.
Yes.
I think that's the way of putting it. But yes, we are indeed talking about Jamaica. Shall we just dive straight into this? Because this really needs to be a fairly short episode today, I think.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Clearly wasn't tired enough to forget which button to press, James.
Indeed.
I got it right. Go me. So, what is Jamaica? Well, Jamaica is a lightweight, fun, pirate-themed tactical racing game for 2 to 6 players, aged 8 and up, which was released by, if memory serves correctly, GameWorks back in 2007, and it has a playtime of 30 to 60 minutes. In Jamaica, players are in a race to the finish line whilst taking a few spare minutes to pick up some plunder and rum supplies en route. The winner of the game is not the winner of the race, but is in fact the player with the most booty. Booty. We do love a bit of booty.
Indeed.
That's a rough idea of what the game entails and what the objective of the game is, James. But what comes in the box when you buy it? Now, before you read it out, I will point out the game we played was an original printing.
Mm-hmm.
And the component list that you're about to read out, because we're having to do this online because I don't physically own a copy of this game, this is of the newest printing.
Okay.
So when you buy it, this is exactly what you will get.
Okay. In the box, Jason, you have 1 game board, 6 pirate ships, 66 action cards, 12 treasure cards, 6 ship holds, 1 first player compass, 2 action dice, 1 fight dice, 179 tokens of various types, and a rulebook.
Very, very nice indeed. So, yes, it was really difficult to find a component list online. So, I'm really glad I managed to find one in the end. But that's not too much in that game. Box there, is there? What would you say the component quality is like from what you saw last night?
Yeah, the game board's fairly standard. The little ship tokens are standard plastic, a little cheap looking. I don't know what the RRP is on this game.
I can't remember what the RRP is. However, I had a quick look before we went live, and you can currently pick this game up for £25.
Okay, so acceptable for £25. You have standard little plastic models of pirate ships. The tokens were punchboard. The dice were wooden dice.
From what I remember, yes. They were. Yeah. Echo everything you have just said. What I do like about the game, especially, is the art styling.
Yeah, I do
like
like
the styling
artwork
on this game is really, really good. The board itself is nice, bright and colourful. Obviously, it is a map of Jamaica with a little bit of the, obviously the sea around it for the racetrack. But yeah, that art styling on this game, James. So good. And I mean, I'm hoping it's something they've carried over into the newer version of this, but I love the fact that if you lay all of your character cards down, it creates one long piece of art. That's a really nice touch. You've got to admit that.
Yeah, I did like that.
What did you think about because obviously every player is a different pirate. So obviously you had an individual character name and artwork. What did you think of those?
Yeah, I liked that little touch. Just that, you're not just nameless pirates on a particularly different coloured plastic ship. No, it's like you've got a name and a face to go with your pirate.
Indeed. Now, being a pirate game, let's be honest, we were doing quotes and pirate impersonations all over the shop.
Yep.
Would you say that's the kind of thing that actually brings the element of fun to this game, or is it just
when you can relate to the theme, I think that really does help with gameplay. Because like I said, it is a very simple game.
Oh, yeah.
So, that being able to relate to the theme, I think really helps with a game like that. Because, yes, Pirates of the Caribbean quotes left, right, and centre.
I mean, that was the first thing was I want to be the black ship. I have to be the Black Pearl.
Yep.
Now I just need to, make some custom cards so it's Captain Jack Sparrow. Replace one of the others with like Davy Jones. And but yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. And I think that is something I wanted to highlight about the game is it oozes theme.
It does. I have a niggle though.
Oh, he has a niggle already.
I have a niggle, but we'll get to that when we discuss the tokens.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the tokens then, Jason.
Well, and the gameplay in general, because
well, we'll start talking about the tokens, and then we'll segue.
Yeah.
We'll just seamlessly transition into gameplay.
So part of the gameplay is your ship has holds, and you have different resources you can collect. And my niggle was reinforced by your description of the reading, actually, because the resources you can collect are food, gunpowder, and treasure or booty.
Yes.
There's a distinct lack of rum in that list.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a shame, isn't it? But I mean, we could sort of lump it in with the food and drink, but maybe I think being that this is a pirate-themed game, that should have been a dedicated token.
Yes, rum.
And the idea of the game, as I said, whoever has the most booty at the end wins. I think if you installed like rum into this, there'd be but if you've got the most rum, then you can immediately have a final battle, and whoever wins the battle wins the day. And that's a lovely little transition there to talk about the battling in this game, because there is indeed player interaction through battling.
Yes.
Gunfire. Love it. What did you think about that and how it works?
It's fine. It's a simple roll off, isn't it? You've got a dice that's, I think it's 2 to 6 and an explosion.
Yeah. I guess you've kind of got like a very simplified version of the same sort of battling mechanics you find in something like Scythe, where it's like, this is what I've got these tokens which are going to boost my power. That's your gunpowder tokens. It's like, okay, before I roll the dice, I want to spend 1, 2, 3. So I'm immediately going to do 3. Then I roll the dice. Oh, I rolled a 2. But it's not too bad because that's 5 overall.
Yeah.
That's me as the attacker. Now it's your chance as the defender to try and defend yourself against me. And you just have to better me.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But if
I made that strategic decision because I can see your board and you didn't have any gunpowder, James. So was that a wise decision for me?
I mean, it paid off in the first turn when you did it to me. You stabbed me in the back off the starting line.
Would you expect nothing less?
Indeed, but it bit you later on, didn't it?
It did indeed, yes. Yes, very much so.
And we should probably talk about the actual movement mechanics and what those tokens, the other tokens, do, Jason.
We should. I mean, how do you get into a battle? So, yes, that's not going to happen. I suppose it would happen if we were all just stood still next to each other. But there is obviously movement and stuff in here. So let's talk about the actual core mechanics of this game, because it is a racing game. On a player's turn, for example, for me, I would roll 2 dice. I get a 4 and a 5. It is then my choice as to which one of those dice represents the morning and which one of those dice represents the evening. Once I have made that decision, every player must then choose a card to play, which will have both a morning and an evening action on it. When everyone has decided, in player order, it is revealed what they do. I have played a card that has move forward and gain food in that order. So I would move forward 5 because that's where I placed the dice. So I've moved forward 5 places. Then I perform the evening action. I've gained food to a level of 4. So I've gained 4 food and I have to place that into a hold on my ship without separating them. The other actions that you can do, or that are part of cards, is move backwards, gain gunpowder,
gain booty.
I mean, that's it. That's all the cards actually do.
That's all the cards do, and it is you have to play them in the order you think is going to benefit you the most based on that dice roll.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And yes, combat is simple. It's initiated the minute you move into a square that already has a pirate ship on it.
Oh, yes, as true pirates would.
Yep. And what's the purpose of the food? Obviously, the booty, you have to have a stockpile for the end. What is the primary purpose of the booty and the food? Tax, Jason.
Indeed.
Even pirates have to pay it.
It's all about that tax.
Yes.
Certain places on the racetrack, shall we say, have a cost around them. Some of it is food. To land on this space is going to cost you, let's say, 3 food. Okay, cool. That comes out of my hold. I've now paid that. I can now move on to my evening action. There are other spaces where if you land on them, you're deemed as going into port. So therefore, you're paying port fees.
Yep.
Port taxes.
Port fees. It's not very piratey, is it? Paying tax.
The worst thing is, it doesn't give you that sort of Jack Sparrow-esque thing of when he paid the port fees
and then immediately
stole it back.
And yes, I think it's also important to note that, say, in your example, where you moved in the morning and gained food in the evening, if you move into that, if that movement pushes you into a space that requires a food payment, you have to pay that before gaining the food in the evening. And if you can't pay, move back to the next free space, which could be halfway around the board.
It is correct. So yes, if you cannot pay, you must pay as much as you possibly can, and then you are pushed back until you land in a space where you can pay or is free. And there's not many places on the board
that are free.
There has been more than one occasion where I can remember doing an exceptionally great move and then realizing that I had completely misjudged my food and ended up going back just as far as I'd just come.
Yep.
So it was a bit of a wasted action, really, because I ended up losing all my food and I was further back than where I started. So it was kind of, never good. Would you say the game is too punishing in that regard?
No, because it makes you think about really which card you want to put down. Because yes, someone might roll that 6 and it's perfect for a move and go, yes, I can steam ahead. But if I steam ahead 6 spaces, I can't pay the tax and I'm going to end up being knocked back 4. And I'm going to lose my resources. So do I want to use that card now?
Yeah, you sort of immediately think, or you see, especially if you see a 6 or a 5 on the table, you immediately think, oh, I want to use that for movement. Doesn't always benefit you all that much. Sometimes you actually want to sit there and go, actually,
I'll build resources.
It's better to build resources now.
But at the same time, if I build resources, what's everyone else going to do? Because I noticed the player after me is, say the movement is a 5, is 5 spaces behind me. So if I gain all these resources, he's going to roll up and open fire on me.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a lot of player interaction in the sense of got to see what's going on. And I mean, we played in a 3-player game last night, James. The one thing that you haven't had experience at yet, but you immediately said straight after the game you could see what would happen is at the full 6-player count, there's douchebaggery and skullduggery galore in this game. Lots of fighting, lots of stealing other people's stuff. There's obviously the mechanic in the game where there are treasure chests dotted about the board, and the first player to get to them gets to take a treasure from
I really
center.
like this mechanic because they're not always good.
Oh, no. I mean, just imagine, James, all these finding a treasure chest and thinking, oh, I've got all the money. Opening up just to find a really, really angry crab inside.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose it's a curse in this game, isn't it? But you get to reveal your treasure. Some of them are immediate effects that can actually benefit your ship, at which point you would reveal them. I think you got one, which
I did. It was a automatic +2 to the combat dice.
Yes, and that saved you quite a bit.
Yes. Because you forgot it was there, didn't you, Jason?
I did indeed forget it was there.
And you attacked me, didn't you, Jason?
I did indeed.
How well did it go for you, Jason?
It didn't go very well at all. That was the end of my game, pretty much, because I lost everything. Couldn't afford the tax because of that on the space, and ended up going back about halfway around the board.
What did we learn?
Do it again. But yeah, obviously the other bits of treasure you can get is booty.
Yeah.
There's a couple of minus booty things in there.
They're the curse cards. Extra holds.
Yeah. There's a couple of abilities that have an extra card in your hand, as well as a few other things. But the thing is, those aren't safe even once you've got them.
No, because if you lose a combat, the player who wins can either choose to raid your holds and nick one of your resources, or they can nick your treasure chests.
Oh, yes.
But they're not always revealed, so they can be...
Exactly, and it's completely random unless choosing one that's already revealed. So, say, for example, I've got 3 treasure chests. I know that I've got 2 good ones and 1 really bad one.
Yep.
I get to hold it out to you face down, and you have to pick which one it is. The reaction when you pick out that bad one, James, is it worth it? Oh no!
That was Dave to me, wasn't it? When I raided him, and he was like, "Do you want my treasure?" It's like you wouldn't be offering that unless you had cursed treasure in there, mate. So no.
Yeah, you cottoned onto that one pretty quickly, unfortunately. So every time you did win a battle, you never ever seemed to steal other people's treasure, which was actually a new experience for me. Because every time I played this game with other people, it's like, no, I'm nicking your treasure. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, it was, well, at that point, I had the +5 endgame scoring and the +2 to combat resolution. It's like, I'm fine for treasure. Yeah. And an extra hold on top of that. It's like,
and you were in front of all of us as well. So you were doing pretty good. I think that game was me and Dave fighting for second place, which, I mean, with me, I don't think I've ever got out of minus figures. So I'm quite an easy person to play at this game because I really do enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. My excuse is that they were manically sailing around the island looking for rum.
Yes, exactly. I would also say that due to how badly I did, I think my entire crew was already intoxicated with rum. So that's why we didn't do well. Not that I'm coming up with excuses or anything like that, but you clearly cheated. And you just had a really good teacher. And
is that were you standing on the deck of your ship? Is that how you're all feeling then? That old Jason's not looking after your best interests?
So anything else about the gameplay, James, that you would like to talk about or highlight as something that you either did or didn't like?
I think the last thing to cover, isn't it, is the end game scoring. So it's obviously you have to spend the booty on port fees if you land on a port space. But they also form part of your end game scoring because for every coin you have in your holds, that's a +1 point at the end of the game.
Indeed, yeah.
So it always pays to have to have a stockpile of them, and you get points depending on if you finish in a certain
It's
point.
essentially the last quarter, isn't it? Every section is an extra point.
The end game is triggered by the first person to get back to Port Royal.
Yep.
And then every other player gets one more turn.
To try and get as far as possible.
So there is, I think Port Royal is 15 points, and then it counts down each space to -5.
Yes. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it gets to 1 and then immediately jumps to -5 because -5 is for the rest of the board.
to the rest of the board. So there's some of your points. Amount of coins you have in your hold adds to that. And then if you have one of those +5 treasures, that adds to it. Person with the highest score wins.
Yeah. And you managed to win the race by getting all the way to the end.
Yep.
We didn't get into the scoring section at all. Luckily, Dave had a few points up his sleeve in his treasure chests, which put him into positive scores, just.
Yep.
And I had nothing but negative scores. And yeah, I did well.
I got to the end, which was 15 points. I had a +5 treasure chest, which was 20 points. And I had 6 coins in my hold.
Yeah, you did well.
Plus 26.
You did well for your first game. But yes, shall we move on to our final thoughts, James?
Indeed.
Seeing as though you won the game last night, James, you have won the ability to go first in the final thoughts. Not that I don't always make you go first.
Yeah, I would agree with the 8+. I'm not so sure I would agree with the 30 to 60 minute playtime, especially at full player count. Because if you're playing this with a gaming group, add on all the time you're going to be making for bad puns and laughing. Yeah. The game will take a lot. I don't think we did it in 30 to 60 minutes. I think we were probably closer to the hour and 15, hour and a half mark.
I think we were close to the hour and 15, but obviously you were also a newbie, and it's been a while since both me and Dave have played it, so we were refreshing our memory on those rules as well. So, add on 15 minutes straight away for the thing. I would have said with the 3-player game, we should have been closer to the half an hour mark. And I would say games that I've played previously, it does fit in that category once people know what they're doing. But like you said, if you're having fun and you're doing all the god-awful puns and, there's not much analysis paralysis in the game, but occasionally there's a couple of decisions that you don't really want to make.
Yeah.
But you're forced to make. They can take a little bit longer. The long story of it is, you might end up going back on this one, but then you're going to be drawing another card, so next round you might be able to really blitz forward.
Yeah.
I think the game is very, very quick. Even at the 6-player count, it's fairly quick because, it's roll of the dice, everyone chooses, everyone plays, all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, it would be a lot quicker if you could do all the movements and stuff simultaneously, but then it would defy the point of tactically playing so that you get to attack someone before they get to move.
Yeah. Not
really possible on those grounds, but yeah.
So I would say my final thoughts on the game are, it's a fun, easy to learn game. Totally agree with the 8+. I think it's a good game for the younger ones. I think they'd really enjoy it, as well as the adults. So yeah, it's just a fun all-round game.
Nice. Would you say it's more aimed at families than adults?
I would say that's probably the intention, but adult gaming groups will love it.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. The game is, in my eyes, definitely geared towards the family market, especially with the negation of rum being involved. That might lean you a bit more towards the family-friendly side of things. But yeah, I would agree with the age rating. I would agree with the time it takes to play, especially if you're not all learning the game. It's a really easy game to teach. Like, even with refreshing my memory of the rules, it's 15 minutes. That's all it was. Very easy game to play. It's not a long, drawn-out game. It's not going to be the main game of the evening. Never going to be that for me. I'm happy enough not owning this game. However, if anyone wants to play it and it's coming to the table, it is a game that I think I would happily sit down and play almost every single time. Once a month, if it came out onto the table, more than happy to sit down and play it. For me, the game is very, very worthy of a 7.5 out of 10. I found very little wrong with the game. The components were good. The gameplay was good. It wasn't really heavy enough for my liking to gain that higher Meeple rating, but a very, very worthy 7.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a 7, Jason. A solid 7. Like you said, it's a little below my weighting for games that I would normally go for. But yeah, as a warm-up game, every time, yeah, I'd be up for it.
I think this is another one, again, especially if you've got 5 brand new players, this is a game I think I could actually break out as a large-scale gateway game. Jamaica, there you go. It's not super in-depth analysis this evening because we are, well, me especially, very incredibly tired. But we hope that we haven't rambled on too much in this episode. But yeah, it was all a bit of fun and games for this one, James. Thank you guys for joining us once again for another game highlight episode. Again, I can only profusely apologise for my tiredness and drainedness and whatever else I can come up with to say how tired I really am. To give you a rough idea, the time is currently 8 p.m. in the UK. As soon as we finish recording this in about 3 minutes' time, I'm going to kick James out the house and go to bed.
Yep.
As a 34-year-old man, I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. in the evening. Even my son stays up later than that most nights. But anyway, how did you find the game, James? Was it a good one? Is it something you would want to play again?
Well, I won, so I automatically like it.
We did have that discussion a little while ago. Games are amazing. All the time I'm winning, which is why I like so many games. I need you to step up your game, James, because if you start beating me more, my game collection starts to disappear. Although I have been selling games recently, James.
You have, I know.
Yeah. How empty does this Kallax look?
It does. Did it hurt?
Yeah. It did.
Were you like handing the boxes over like?
There might have been a few little tears,
yes,
just going down the face.
Jason, you have to let go of the box.
But I've got the money and the game.
No, that's not how selling works.
I mean, the money didn't stay in my pocket for all that long, though, did it?
No, you bought 2 new games.
I bought 2 new games. So,
to be honest, 2 games that I am very much looking forward to getting to the table.
Yes, indeed. I mean, one of them was Dice Forge, another older game, but we've both played this. It's a really, really good game. Be great to play it again and actually, because I mean, this was well before we even ever thought about doing this. So it'd be good to play it and look at it through our new reviewery. Highlightery eyes and really take the game apart, which is ironic really because in the game you take dice apart.
Yeah.
So look forward to that one. The other one was quite frankly, thanks to Wayne at Board Stupid first introducing me to it and making me like it, it's now costing me even more money. I bought into Ankh Gods of Egypt.
Yes. Now I saw you play that game. Was it the first time you've played it?
It's the first and only time I've played it, and I won.
Yep.
Sorry, Nick. Stealing it right at the last turn.
Still upset about that. I'm kind of gutted because I was offered a place in that game and was just too tired for that on the night for that level of game. But I did see it as you were playing and go, okay, this is definitely, it's been on my radar for a while, and watching it be played, now I want to play it.
Yeah, definitely. And that will be one we'll get to the table very, very soon. I'm already motivated. Like today, while I was at work, I was thinking about the miniatures and, I really want to paint these. If I'd been at home, I probably would have batch painted loads of it. Obviously, wasn't able to happen and can't happen this weekend either, which is really gutting because the motivation is there. I finished painting Project Elite and now I want to paint some more. Anyone think it's Cool Mini or Not, actually? Yeah. Cool Mini or Not games, I'm on a bit of a high for them at the moment.
Indeed. Probably all the miniatures.
It might be something to do with the miniatures, but yeah. Anyway, that's it. 3 minutes are up. James, it's time for you to get the hell out of my house.
Indeed. Let's wrap this up.
We will indeed. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. My name has been Jason.
And I've been James.
You've been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta. Goodbye.